Hey guys, back at it again with another video. Decided to upload a Yu-Gi-Oh video about magnets because I love magnets and I think they're good. Anyone that loves magnets and wants a good magnet video or a deck list around it, this would be the one for Master Duel. Obviously we'll get into the deck list right now. So we got one copy of Alpha, one copy of Beta, one copy of Gamma, or the normals, just to facilitate the quick play effect of the tribute of the magnets. If Epsilon was in Master Duel, it would make this deck a lot more consistent, but that's another thing for another time. We got one Astral Karibo just for those Xyz plays. We'll get to them in a minute. Max C's obviously draw power. Emancipators just help with the extension as well. Just being able to special summon another magnet from the deck if possible is really good extension. Plus, since she's a level 2 tuner, she can go into some synchro plays which we got lined up. I'll get into a minute as well. 3 copies of Alpha, just to extra to draw the level 8s. So the Valkyrians, Berserkions. We've got Betas to draw the other magnets of any choice. 3 copies of him. 2 copies of Gamma. Don't really need too much of him since he's not that big of a deal. But he only allows to special summon magnets from the hand if he's played it as a normal. Other than that, 2 copies of Ash just to stop draws. Just good against anything really, just a good staple. You know, stop Fusion Destiny, any stuff that has fusion related things to the deck, Red Eyes Fusion, anything, you know, yada yada. 3 copies of Delta just to facilitate, you know, putting cards in the graveyard, you know, getting the cost going. Obviously Delta has a floating effect. You can pull Valkyrian from the deck to the field, which is really useful for these Xyz plays or going into the fusion, whatever you need. Obviously you can send a Delta from the deck to the graveyard with its own effect to activate the effect of itself to pull Valkyrion, which is also another good play if you get to that point. Berserkion is one of the main boss monsters of the deck. Obviously banishing one of each of the main electromagnets to summon it, and then being able to banish one magnet to pop one of your opponent's cards, which is very strong if it doesn't get negated. And even if you don't have the cost to banish to pop cards, it's still good as a level 8 just to have on the field for those Xyz plays, which is what we're going to go into, or your fusion monster, which is also the main card we want. 2 copies of Poly because we're running Predator, there's no need to draw it. Terraforming's just good since we're only running 2 copies of Magnet Field, so 1 copy of Terraforming, just good to also bait the Ash if they got an Ash. Emancipator Signs is just a really good revive card for your magnets, or Emancipator if you need it. Just really good, really good revival card. Also really good for reviving Berserkion or Valkyrion if summoned naturally due to your Xyz plays or something, summoning it naturally, then you can just use this, pop it back onto the field as another big beat stick. Just a really good thing. You wonder, like, oh, magnet reverse, I mean, it has the benefits of being able to revive from the banish pile, but your magnets aren't going to get banished most of the time, unless it's like a Dark Magician deck, but you'll figure it out. 3 copies of the Magnet Induction, just good for special summoning the magnets, just helpful extenders. The 2 copies of the Magnet Field, this card is very good. A lot of opponents underlook this card instead of reading what it actually does, and by the time they read it, it's too late. They've already cancelled their negates. Obviously this card allows you to revive magnets from the graveyard back to your field, but a bonus effect is that when you do battle with your magnets and they don't destroy the opponent's monster, you can send it back to their hand or deck, well, the extra deck, if it's an extra deck monster, which is very powerful, being able to just bounce it back to their hand. And we've got the 2 copies of Twin Twisters, just useful just to get rid of spell traps that are just annoying. Plus it sends magnets to the graveyard as cost, which is a bad idea. And the 2 copies of Necro just to facilitate the 2 fusions that we're going to get to in a minute. Alright, so that's for the main decks, and then we go on to the extra deck. So we got 3 copies of Imperion the Magnum, the Superconductor, Superconductive Battlebot, which is one of the main boss monsters. Obviously this is an Omni Negate, very very powerful 4000 beat stick. It is possible to get 2 of these bad boys out on the first turn if you can draw with Valkyrion, Berserkion, and a Poly and a Necro, or a different combination is one of the level 8s, Valkyrion, Berserkion, either having an Alpha and a Gamma, and also the Necro, just go into Predaplant by special summoning Gamma to Alpha, pull either one of the ones you're missing, then go into Predaplant, send the Poly, and then you got your Imperion. If you have Necro, you can just get another one onto the field. But yeah, this guy's pretty dope. Big Omni Negate, really useful just to stop your opponent's card effects. Also, it has a floating effect too if they do manage to destroy it by a card effect, being able to pull a Valkyrion or Berserkion from your deck just to keep that Xyz plays going if you want to go into the Xyz or Fusion Summon again. As for the following cards, we've got Synchro cards, Borreload Savage, and Berlander Flirt. I've added Borreload recently. I have yet to test him properly. I feel like he would synergize well with this deck due to the tuner potential. 3 plus 3 plus 2 equals 8. You know, but also we need a Link monster to do it, so assuming that we use Predaplant to Fusion Summon early on, then we get enough materials to go into Borreload, we can just get the tokens from Predaplant if it was sent from the graveyard to give Borreload some tokens. Obviously, Berlander Flirt, one of the other big Omni Negates that we can summon. This is an easy card to summon turn 1 if possible, so you could either use Berserkion or Valkyrion with an Emancipator to go into Berlander Flirt, or you can, if it's late in the late game, usually your turn 3, if you went first, you know, and you used your quick effects to special summon level 4s, you could use 2 level 4s and the Emancipator to go into Berlander Flirt. It's just all around good card destruction effect, and an Omni Negate. There's just nothing wrong with Berlander Flirt, just a good card to pick up. As for the Xyz monsters, we got a few range choice. We got your number 100 just for that nice OTK 9000 beatdown. Just good if your opponent's open, you just go for that big attack and then you just finish it. Obviously using Draglubion to summoning it, using 2 level 8s, which is what we're using the Astral Crew just to facilitate that extra level 8 play, but it's not that hard to get those Xyz plays. And then we've got the number 92 Heart Earth Dragon just as a thing to go into number 100, or we can use that to, you know, just fiddle around with our opponent, you know, make sure they can't do anything, locks them out if they can't get rid of it, if he's wanted to play this card specifically. Otherwise mainly just go into number 100, or the better play, what we're going to do is that from the level 8s, instead of going for the OTK, we're going to go from Draglubion to go into Pain Gainer, to Pain Gainer to 7 Sins. Now this is just another big boss monster that just sits on the field, you know, you can just banish all your opponent's special summon monsters, and it just has inherent protection. Obviously it doesn't have protection from banishing effects, but it has protection from destruction and battle effects, which is pretty good. As for the other Xyz monsters, we got the Gorganic Guardian, which is just a simple 2 level 3 rock types, which is just perfect, and it acts as a negate card, which is just good. You know, if you just need another negate on the board, it's just useful. And then the Galen Granite, just to extra surge power. Honestly, it's just useful in case you needed that extra magnet or whatever else you're missing. As for the Link monsters, your bread and butter Anaconda. Obviously this has been banned into the TCG fairly recently, so I'm having a little trouble, but I can make do in the TCG. Obviously Epsilon's in the TCG, and that makes Magnets a lot more consistent, but he's not in this game yet, so maybe when he's added to the game I'll update this deck list. But yeah, he's just a generic, you know, useful fusion card that's just, everyone knows what it does. I don't have to explain it. You know, pay 2000, fusion summon from the deck, pretty easy. And then obviously we got Decode Talker and Access Code Talker. Now, I don't know, I find it kind of hard to go in Access Code Talker with this deck, since, I don't know, it depends on like how many, like it's not that hard to get a lot of magnets on the field to special summoning, but I mean, I've only done it like a few times. But if you can find a better way to get Co-Talker on, or access Co-Talker on the field, you know, just for another big OTK or destruction, you know, it's just good. I just put decode in for that link free, you know, to give him that extra 3,000 attack bump. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the magnets. We'll get into a few replays just to show you how it's done, and I'll leave your thoughts in the comments or whatever. I hope this deck is useful to you guys in the future or whatever.